Hello. I did say a day or two, didn't I? It's been a bit more than that. I keep thinking, right, tomorrow I'll wear makeup, or I'll look a bit better tomorrow, or I'll have time then, and it's just not happening. So here we are, lunch break on a Friday, no makeup. I'm wearing my glasses today, but I've had to take them off because the glare from the window in front of me is horrific and you can't see my face. So I can't see you, hopefully you can see me. So yes, updates. The reason I wanted to give you an update of what's been going on is because back in the day when I was on maternity, when I was on all the time, I used to get so many messages saying thank you for sharing, I feel less alone, or I'd have a chat with people, they'd be like, I don't speak to anyone else about this, no one else mentions this. And I helped a lot of people. In return, that was helping me because I was discussing what was going on with me and I was feeling less alone because they were feeling less, if that makes sense. So right, haven't done this for ages and that's what I want to do. So I've been away for a bit. I've been doing a lot of, I want to say soul searching, but it sounds very dramatic. I think what I need to do is explain a little really quick rundown of my past and stuff. So right, here goes. I'm going to do it as quick as I can. Childhood. Mum and dad divorced. I lived with mum and sister. Mum didn't work. Mum was an alcoholic. Sister was younger. So I ended up being mum, dad, ATM, bank, parent, advisor, financial advisor, admin assistant, taxi, because I was the only one that drove as soon as I turned 17. So I was always looking after everyone else, never me. Along came Mr. M, my amazing husband Daniel, and we met when we were 20, really, really young, fell in love like instantly, and we've been inseparable ever since. But obviously I have my troubles with my family. My dad died when I was 15 as well, so I've got loads of stuff going on in the background. I was very complicated relationship with my mum, even though she was alcoholic free at that point, and she wasn't until she died. But it was very strained and very weird relationship. And then his family are deeply religious. I'm definitely not. Dan, not so much anymore, but that's his story now. So right, so we had a lot of things going on externally around us as a couple. We were very strong, nothing was ever gonna split us up, but we had a lot to contend with from external influences. So again, we ended up doing things that we might not have done or might not have done at a particular time, or we were people pleasing. Together or individually, we were people pleasing a lot. And then fast forward to start of 2017. My mum had a bit of a, well, I'll say health scare, but it wasn't a scare because it turned out to be true, but what you'd say is a health scare. So she was in and out of hospital, lots of tests, lots of appointments. I lived in Stoke-on-Trent at the time. She still lived in Wolverhampton. Because no one around her drove, or she didn't understand the lingo of the doctors, didn't understand the paperwork, I took her to every single appointment. So I was working full time, living an hour and a half away, and I was to and fro. So there's a lot of, obviously, I was put to the back of everyone's mind. And then in May, we were going to get the results of these tests. Was it cancer? Was it not? And me and Dan had a holiday booked to Zante. And it just so happens that the week that we were going to go away, she was going to get the results. And she made me go anyway. She said, I want you to go. I don't want you to stay here. I'd feel horrific if you just stayed here. Go. Anyway, had the phone call. 3 days into the holiday, she got stage 4 terminal cancer. She had 3 to 6 months to live. If she had chemo, she might do 9 to 12 months. But she was not in great health anyway, so we really were touch and go. So I was just like, oh my God. Like, you know. So that was basically the start of the, I've just had snowball stuff since then. So we came back from holiday. Me and Dan had already been talking about our family for a while, and I got pregnant the month after with Austin. And as mum was getting worse, she made the decision not to have chemo. You know, she was trying to hold on for Austin. We ended up moving back towards Wolverhampton. So I moved, I think 10 months pregnant, and I was still taking her to all these appointments, all of her stays were in. I was My sister was doing sort of the hands-on nursing of her, but I was doing everything else, so the mental strain of it. Anyway, had Austin, had a bad labour, traumatic labour, well, I didn't even have labour, C-section, planned C-section, lots of pregnancy complications, placenta previa, so I had bleeds and stuff like that, terrified. And then Mum passed away 16 days before I had Austin. Then I had to arrange a funeral after I'd just given birth to my first child, after a very traumatic birth. Austin went at 3 weeks old to his nan's funeral. So that was that. And then we decided, right, we're going to buy our own house. So a few months after, oh, hang on, no. My dog, that was my baby, she was like 9 at that time. She had to have a really horrendous leg operation that summer. In the winter, she then had to have an emergency hysterectomy or whatever you call it for a dog. She had a serious infection, nearly died. Then we bought a house a few months later, the start of 2019. Then we moved in. A few months later, got pregnant with Cole. That's a whole other story. Bleeds throughout. Kept thinking I was miscarrying. Wasn't. Ended up in hospital at 28 weeks. Was told I was going to have to stay there. Super traumatic. I've done a blog. I've been on a podcast about that. I've got stories. There's lots of detail there, but placenta previa, placenta accreta, and ended up having a hysterectomy as well. So I could go on all day about that. So I'm really trying to keep it as short as possible. So that was hugely traumatic. I still have severe PTSD from what happened around then. Plus I'd had so much trauma leading up to it. I've had weekly therapy over 2 years, which stopped a little while ago. And basically my whole life's just been one big trauma, one after the other. So then we're sort of up to, right, I went back to work 10.5 months after having Cole, far too early, wasn't ready for work, went back to an office environment, triggered my PTSD, had to get a new job, home working. Managed to get one, brilliant, home working, amazing. Had to work for full time for the first time since being a mum, very difficult. Then Austin started school. It just doesn't stop. Austin started school. That was a whole new ball game. Anyone who's had their eldest kid go to school, my God, is it a shock to the system. So that was that. Then that was September just gone. Start of this year, Cole has had 3 lapses with his talipes and been back in and out of casts all the time. His treatment for talipes is very much wrapped in my PTSD because it was happening at the same time. So my brain has linked the two together. They come together. There's been a lot of triggering of PTSD this year. Sorry, this light's awful, isn't it? It's because of the blinds, can you see? Anyway, so yeah, right, that brings us up to today. So the start of this year, ended up having to need a little bit of time off work because my mum was just in a spin. Over the last few months, I have, should we say deteriorated? No, not quite deteriorated. My mental health's been a struggle, shall we say. I think I'm okay one minute, the next, something comes out of the blue, something ridiculous, and I'm floored. Panic attacks have been a lot more often, or the oncoming of panic attacks. Luckily, I know, I'm very aware of my own mental health. I know when they're coming on. I'll be like, oh my God, Dan, I can't feel my arms. He's like, right, sit down, and we work through it together. He's amazing. So, that's the lowdown. God, how many minutes are we on? 8. Jeez, sorry guys. Hope you've got a cuppa. Oh, actually, I've got a coffee. Right, so this is the rundown. This is my background. Austin's only 5.5. So you can see from my mum getting diagnosed with cancer to now is only about 6 years. And so my mum's been diagnosed, suffered with cancer, died, had my first baby, traumatic birth, bought a house, dog had 2 operations. Oh, we lost the dog a couple of years ago. Had another child, traumatic birth, crazy traumatic birth, COVID, new jobs, school. So this year, my brain's just sort of said, nah, had enough, not doing it. I am not doing this anymore. So I was like, what do I do? So I didn't really know what to do. I was trying to hide it from Dan, hide it from everyone, how bad I was struggling. And I just got pissed off. I was just like, I do not want to live my life like this. I don't. Right, I need to sit down, work it out, what's going on, is it going to change? Let's be realistic, Sam. I've always thought, right, trauma, we can work through it, we'll be able to get, you know, towards the end, and there's an end to it. This year, it has been very prominent to me that my brain has changed forever. My brain is not going to function ever the way it did. It's just not going to do it. I've researched it, and apparently trauma can physically change your brain, how it works, and I really do feel like that has been, for me, especially through my therapy, knowing that I've got loads of trauma in the background as well. So I mean, simple to say, I have been struggling, and I've thought about it, and since having Cole, when the real big trauma hit, I've not allowed myself to be me. Let's talk about FM then. So FM, I started 5 minutes after Cole was born. I'm not going to lie, and it sounds dramatic, but FM saved my life. I was in lockdown. I was so suicidal. Postnatal depression, PTSD, physical health was horrific. I had nothing to live for in my brain. Obviously, I had 2 beautiful boys and an amazing husband, but in my brain, I just didn't have anything to live for. So I started FM. And I threw myself into FM. My God, did I throw myself into FM. Come in, never doing anything like it before, building up a team of over 220 girls that I was mentoring, doing weekly lives on my Facebook group, mentoring them all, doing one-to-ones with them all, selling myself, building up my social media to help. It just gave me a focus, and I threw everything into it, and Dan was really supportive. And then I went back to work. Then I tried to do the 2, it couldn't work, so FM had to slide, which was fine. That wasn't ever going to be my full-time job. It was what kept my mind busy and kept me occupied when I needed it. Plus, I made a bit of extra cash. Went back to work, and again, tried to get on with it. Throughout my maternity leave as well, I started getting hair extensions, getting my nails done all the time, getting Botox, getting my lips done, which I love it all. Absolutely love it all, but looking back, it was very fast and very soon after my trauma, and I really do think that I just jumped on all of that because I just didn't want to be me. I just did not want to be me, and I was subconsciously trying to change that. I'd never done anything like FM before. I've never had hair extensions before, never had Botox or my lips done or anything like that before. I just wanted to reinvent myself, which was fine. It served its purpose at the time. I feel like the last few months I haven't got a clue who I am, what I like, what I don't like. Who is Sam after the trauma? I don't know. And that sort of hit me so hard the start of this year, thinking, this just isn't me, but I don't know what is me. And gradually I started stripping things away. I don't think I realised what I was doing at the start. So first went social media. I thought I've trying to be creating content. To be honest, I was really disheartened because my account wasn't growing, not earning any money from the ads that I was doing. Yes, loads of amazing gifted stuff with loads of amazing companies. But I've got friends that I've met online, especially like through Love All and Love Leggings. A lot of them are over 100,000 followers now. I'm not. It was really disheartening. I was comparing. I was like, these people are not, like, why is no one following me, basically? I was like, I'm so shit at this. Anyway, so I got really disheartened, and I thought, no, not getting paid for it. What is it bringing to my life? At the moment, nothing. It's just consuming my thoughts, loads of comparison, not good for my mental health. It's going for a bit. So that went. Then I thought, right, hair extensions. I don't feel like I need them anymore, or at least want a break. One, I wanted to see what my natural hair was like, see the condition, the length, etc. And I thought, then they came out, I thought, actually, I could get on board with this maybe. So they came out, and I've stopped having my nails done for a little bit as well. Plus I wanted to just give my nails a break, and it's just all sort of come at the same time. And I've literally stripped my whole life back to the bare bones than what I could. Sounds really dramatic, but I just want to release as many thoughts in my brain as what I can. So that's what I did. I've just been releasing brain space as much as I can. I've been decluttering the house. As you can see, I've been going nuts on Vinted. I have been decorating the house, to how I want it, and not thinking, oh, is this Instagram perfect, or would this look nice in a photo? No, I've just been doing it how I want it and how I like it. That sounds so basic, but for me, that's what I was doing. And I have been saying no if I don't want to do things. I have not been worrying if I put a story up how many people are viewing it. I have not been worried about anything like that. I've actually got a new job to go to in October because I can do my job, good at my job, but I'm in such a complex part of mortgages, which is where I wanted to go. But I've really analysed myself, and it is really damn stressful. And with my mental health, with 2 little boys that I nearly died for, I just thought, why am I killing myself pushing and pushing and pushing in this job when I'm pretty much doing okay anyway? Like, it's not as if I haven't done well for myself. I've always been really ambitious, and I've always had quite a clear view of my next step in my career and my next 2 steps, etc. And where I am now is 100% where I dreamed of being about 5 years ago. Dreamed. I thought, oh my God, like, you know, when I got the job, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Now I've been analysing, and I think luckily I'm not losing money. I'm getting a senior title, but I'm moving over into a more simple kind of mortgage environment, as in the types of mortgages that I'm going to be underwriting. So I think that's going to be a good step in the direction for me. Definitely, you know, that has been really difficult. I've always been so ambitious. Coming from a small village in a house on benefits with no car, I've always been, right, as soon as I can drive, I'm driving. As soon as I can work, I'm working. I'm going to work. I'm going to really try and get somewhere, you know. I've always been like that. And then to have something happen so severe, my brain just can't handle it anymore. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet. It's like my brain is clever enough to do it, and it can do it. But my God, do I have to fight to do it? It's so hard now because of what's happened and the way my brain works now. And I think I've just hit a wall where I just want to be happy. I just want to be content. I just want to live and not survive, if that makes sense. It all sounds so dramatic, doesn't it? But this is what's been going through my head. So that's where I've been. So I've been doing also, it's been the school holidays. We only have Dan's parents to help us, but they had a really big wedding anniversary this year, so they went away like for over 3 weeks of the 6 weeks holiday. We went away for 1 week. They had other plans another week, so we've actually only had help today and yesterday out of the whole 6 weeks. So we've done it ourselves through work and annual leave, and they went to holiday club once. So that's been really tough. Throughout the last 9 months, I've become estranged from my sister as well, which has been really difficult. Really difficult. I'm going to become an auntie, which I'm so excited for, through Dan's family. Really excited. So that's been going on. That's oh God, what else have we had? We, as you saw, we had to rehome Luna, which was horrific. So many things. See, I did write notes, but I can't see my notes because of my glasses. Oh, and that was it. Right, so there's a few things. Right, yeah, that people actually asked me on the Q&A. Right, so talipes. Right, so as I mentioned, Cole's had 3 relapses. He has been in cast in and out. He's actually good with his boots now. We've really tried to work on his mindset, explaining why. Nursery have been incredible, and they got us to bring in his boots and the 1 in 1,000 book. If you're a talipes mum, you need to get it. And they read it on carpet time, and they were passing around his boots, and they were like, we want boots like Cole. So that really helped. We've started a star reward system for him, and that's really helping. And as you probably saw if you follow me on here, we were really concerned when he came out of cast last time because he could barely walk. He was clinging onto walls and things, but he has got so much better, and it has just been, you know, building up his muscle. So we're really hoping we're going in the right direction with that. He's been spiking temperatures the last week though, and got a horrible cough, so I'm going to hold my hands up. I didn't put him in boots when he's got a temperature of 40.1. I did not want him in socks up to his knees with boots and buckles and bars up to his knees, but hey ho, we go again. So yeah, that's going on. Also, oh yes, that was it, I put on their alcohol. So this is something that I've been trying to work on as well. So as I mentioned, I'm not an alcoholic by the way, but I have, as I said, I've been really analysing myself recently, and I have discovered I have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, which I'm sure many people do. I mean, we live in a world, a country of drink culture, don't we? So yeah, so I always turn to a glass of wine if I was stressed, if I was happy, if I was sad, if, like, you know, it was always what I turned to. And I grew up with an alcoholic mother, so there's been a few little things, and I thought, oh, I'm sure Mum used to do that at some point. So like, just like how you turn to it for emotional support, this bloody light, support or sorrow, or you know what I mean. So I have just taken it upon myself to start getting involved with the Sober Curious community. Not full on in, but I've really tried to cut down on what I'm drinking and be more conscious of it and educate myself and all this kind of stuff. And I want to get healthy as well, because my physical health still isn't the best. I've also put on a lot of weight this year. I mean, I've always been since I'm in college, I've been the biggest I've ever been. But I did the Kim Fit early on in the year. She's brilliant, amazing. I lost over half a stone, but I just had to, it was just, again, something else in my brain taking up space, and my mental health was so low. Like I said, I thought for me the best thing to do was to remove everything that I could that was taking up space in my brain, to get it gone. So that was crucifying myself about how many steps I'm doing, what I'm eating, how healthy I'm eating, and I wasn't awful or whatever. And I thought, no, the one thing I do want to focus on is the alcohol, because I know obviously that affects depression, that affects anxiety, your physical health, your mental health. I had an alcoholic home to grow up in. I know the importance of that. So that's just been the one thing I've been trying to concentrate on. So I've ended up putting on weight, and I mean, it is what it is. But I am quite self-conscious as well, hence that sort of came hand in hand with the not making content, because I am very self-conscious. So yeah, so that's that. And then, so yeah, I've been tapping into the Sober Curious community, podcasts, books. All my friends, if you're watching this, you're going to think, what the hell has happened to her? I'm normally the first at the bar, the first on the dance floor, always the last standing, but hey ho, times have changed, I'm getting old. So yeah, then someone else asked, what is the lawsuit? Right, this is something else that's been going on this year, which has been sending my PTSD doolally. So if you're around here, you'll probably know quite a lot. If you go to my highlights and look at Cole's traumatic birth story, you'll probably know a bit more. But basically, there was a huge neglect of care, I think that's it, with me when I was pregnant with Cole. And a lot of the things that happened to me, which caused my PTSD, could have been avoided. So they'd already done their internal investigation report without me saying anything. I'd lodged a complaint, and we decided to take it up with a solicitor because of what they've done to me. And this was before the Ockenden report at Shrewsbury and Self Trust. Anyway, so I have had a legal case lawsuit going on since Cole was 2 months old. He's 4 in February. This is dragging on a long time, longer than I hoped and imagined. All I really wanted was an apology and an acceptance that this won't happen again. I've had nothing like that. So I'm sort of at the point now, I'm never going to get what I want. I just want it to be over. But my solicitor, we've had to extend it basically 6 months. That was to October this year. We've had to agree to another extension until April next year. So that'll be 4 years. And it's just too much. I just want... And it's a lot. and I have to be assessed by professor psychologists from London, and I've had to go and see a professor urologist in Manchester, and they've had to write these humongous reports on my physical health, my intimate health, my mental health, my emotional health, and reading things like that about yourself, and some things they have confirmed will probably never get better. The most recent one, my urology report, is saying my bladder has been permanently damaged, and I've tried to ignore it. But then he was saying, no, there is definitely, it's had a very negative effect on my life, and that is part of the reason I don't want to work in an office full time as well, because I have to go to the toilet so often. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'd be worried that people would think I'm skiving, I'm faking it. It's embarrassing, quite frankly. Every time I go out, the first thing I do is like, where's the toilet? Like, you know, you're potty training a child. Like, I need to know where the toilet is just in case. That's my whole life. If I'm going on a walk, I panic if it's a longer walk. If I'm going to walk to the shop and go to the park, I panic thinking, well, where am I going to need to get, where can I go to the toilet? And reading in a report that this is only going to get worse, and naturally as you get older, I'm scared to where I'm going to be in like 20 years time. Am I going to be walking around with a catheter at the age of 50? Like, do you know what I mean? So it's very difficult to read these things and to have professors on FaceTimes quizzing you. They have to get the information they need, but it's so difficult. And to go through how much, just how much that it has affected my day-to-day life is more than upsetting, more than horrific. I can't even explain how bad it is, to be honest. And all I want to do is try and be my best self for me and my boys and my husband, and that's all I want. And I just want to be happy. And yeah, so that's something else. That was something else someone mentioned. So yeah, I'm just really, the longer it's going on, the worse it's making me, basically. So yeah, I think that was everything. Oh yeah, about the house, would you like to see like the stuff I'm doing? It's not going to be Instagram worthy, but like I've just had like a new dining table. My brother-in-law's a decorator, so he's been doing all the bathrooms, decorating them all for me. Yeah, tried to get off that subject quite quick, didn't I then? So basically my head's been a bit of a mush, and I've just been trying to strip it back to find out who I am, basically. And I've tried to spend more time face to face with friends, acquaintances, rather than online ones, because that was something else I thought I was doing. Yeah, I'm just trying to find who I am. I used to be such a fun person, didn't need drink for that. Always mental, always crazy, always making a knob of myself just to make people laugh. Always trying to see the positive on things, and I want to get back there. And I'm never going to be who I was before, which is fine, but I'm just trying to decide who I am. So yeah, so we're trying to cut down alcohol, get healthier in every way. Try and pretend the lawsuit's not going on. But yeah, and I've also, I don't know, I think things have changed on me and the boys as well. And I think looking back, I had really bad postnatal depression with Cole, which was never diagnosed. It's probably overlooked by the severe PTSD, depression, anxiety. But I feel like I finally got that proper mum bond. Like I want to be around him all the time. You know, I just don't want them to go anywhere. I want to spend time with them. I want to be watching a film with them. I don't want them to go to bed when they've got to. And, you know, I've never had that before. And it's a horrible thing to admit, but I think there's probably quite a few of you out there that feel it too. So yeah, but if there is anything I've spoken about, which been quite a lot, that you want to talk about, if you just want me to tell you more about my experience, that is fine. I'm always an oversharer. There's certain things that I will be careful about due to my work, and especially religion and my in-laws, because that's not my story to tell. So yeah, things that I will probably not go into that much, but most stuff, I'm an open book, go ahead. And if you just want to say that you're there too, or you want to talk to me and say, oh my god, I've never, like, you know, I can't believe you've gone through that too, I'm here. Even if you just or you know someone, or you just want to know more about it because you've never heard stuff like this before, just message me, chat to me. Like I said the other day, I do really want to get chatting to people again. I'm a natural chatterbox, and I feel like I lost quite a lot of my personality this year, but I feel like I'm starting slowly to get it back. So yeah. Now I filmed this video, bloody hell, half an hour. I filmed this to go on stories, but I think I'm gonna have to do it on a post, aren't I? So you can watch the whole video. If it'll upload to, will it upload to Instagram if it's that long? Surely it will, it's like a live, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, I'm going on, aren't I? Told you there's a chatterbox. Hope you had a coffee. My coffee's nearly cold. But yeah, also, if you want me to start doing my crazy stories, no makeup, looking like a mess. I really do like my hair at the moment. I haven't done it today, hence the look. Like I said, I've been waiting for a bit of time, there isn't one. But I'm actually quite liking it. It's a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. So I think that's going to stay out for quite a while. Probably need to get my lips redone. But yeah. So I hope that's been interesting, helpful. Even if you just wanted a nose, if you're a hater, hi. But yeah, I will check in with you soon.